Hi, you're watching Dog Ear Musings, and I'm Monika, and today I'm going to be talking about the book Patricia Wants to Cuddle by Samantha Leigh Allen. Samantha Leigh Allen is a journalist, podcast host, as well as an author who primarily writes stories with an LGBTQ plus focus. A lot of her journalism focuses on queer communities in America, and her podcast focuses on pop culture analysis. And she combines these facets that are seen both in pop culture and in her life together in this really funny horror romp. And so I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about what the book is about. So Patricia Wants to Cuddle is a sapphic horror story that focuses on a celebrity dating show modeled after a certain franchise that we won't talk about. It is the final episode of The Catch, and The Catch, the main man, Jake, I think his name is, needs to select from the last 3 contestants who he will walk away with as his wife. So these contestants all go to a remote island where they're all going to go and have their final challenge, and Jake will pick who he will end up with. But then Patricia comes out. Patricia comes into the scene and chaos ensues. This book has it all. It's got a fun sapphic journey. It's got gore, and like the gore scenes are ridiculous. And it's got a Bigfoot Yeti monster all on an island. So what were the cons of the story? For me, one of the cons was for a lot of the characters, well, for most of the characters, we didn't really know their story before the show started. We kind of got a couple of character clues, but not enough to know who that person was as a full-fleshed character. This isn't a book where you're going to get really full characters. It's more of a plot-driven narrative. There's nothing wrong with that. It was just something where there wasn't a lot of that exploration from before the novel started, which I think made certain heightened moments where certain characters were brutally killed off hit a little less, which I think that was all a part of Allen's vision of creating kind of like a B horror movie landscape where you don't really need to know that much, you're just in it for the ride. But again, for me as a reader who really enjoys character studies, I just wanted a little bit more of their backstory so that I could feel a little bit more invested in the characters. Another thing that kind of took me out of certain scenes was it was really hard to picture what Patricia looked like, the monster. I really had a hard time grasping how big she was and just physically what she looked like. Now there were a couple of descriptions in the scene, but I thought that there could have been a little bit more so that my visualization of her made sense, because in some parts I really had a hard time understanding what she looked like in the book. I really enjoyed this book, so there were a lot of pros. Like I said before, I thought the gore in this book was done very well. There were points where I was literally just gasping in shock, what did I just read? It was also done in a way that was just hilarious. I haven't read a book in a while where I have just laughed audibly, and with Patricia Wants to Cuddle, I was really glad that I read a majority of this book in my own apartment, not around anybody, because it did make me audibly laugh. It was ridiculous. It gave all the B horror movie vibes where it's just pulpy, gory, goofy, and just very enjoyable, but very wacky. For read-alikes of what you could pair with this book. Well, in filming this episode of my review, the last episodes of Love is Blind is about to come out. So if you're waiting like me impatiently for the season finale and the live episode of whatever mess that show has become, this is a good kind of placeholder book to kind of scratch that itch of the reality show television that you're missing. And also, if you're watching season 4, feel free to comment below on who you think will make it by the end of this season. Another read-alike or kind of movie TV pairing is the book Mother Thing. Now, I did a cooking review of this book earlier this year. It's by Annalise Hogarth, and it is kind of like a dark satirical commentary on expectations in relationships and grief. And I think that the dark humor vibes and kind of like grotesque writing that Hogarth uses in her book are kind of a really great pairing with Patricia Wants to Cuddle if you're looking for that dark, goofy humor. Alright, so this is kind of a short video, but Patricia Wants to Cuddle is also a short, kind of straightforward book. That's it. That's my review for this week. I'm Monika, and you're watching Dog-Eared Musings. Happy reading. And if you're watching the end of Love is Blind, happy watching.